Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity in Naperville. I'm Kitty Benson, the minister here at Unity, and I am joined by my co-creator, Kim-Char Meredith.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Kim.
Hi.
Glad to see you this morning.
Good to see you, Kitty.
We are here today to remind ourselves of who we really are. That's what we try to do when we come together at Unity, is to remind ourselves of spiritual truth, and that we are spiritual beings having a very human experience right now. Why else would we be doing church in my home and Kim-Char's home on a Sunday morning? Why would you be watching from home? Well, I tell you what, you can do that whenever you want, because that's what we do. We have live stream for those of you who can't get to us, and most of you, none of you can get to us today. So we're so grateful for this technology and for Parker Meredith, who is behind the scenes making this happen today. So thank you, Parker. And one of the ways that we like to really center in during our Sunday service is to turn our thoughts away from the busyness and the news of our life and turn within to our heart space for some meditation time. And we're including a 15-minute meditation this morning just to allow us to really settle down and make that connection. So if that feels good to you, I'll just invite you to close your eyes while we have some music playing. And let's just take a deep breath. If you want to keep your eyes open, we'll have a beautiful picture up on the screen. And just allow yourself to settle into your chair. Feeling that support beneath you so that you can completely relax your body. And imagine that the very presence of peace is here in this moment, calming and soothing our being. Realizing that the very heart of God is holding us in a presence of love. Let's take another deep breath and release. And as our body is calm and relaxed, and our thoughts turn within to our heart space, we allow ourselves to feel the very beat of our heart, calmly, centered, sending life throughout our body. We take this time to give thanks to that precious heart, that which has been beating in our bodies since we were born, and even before. We thank you, heart. And even behind the activity of this heart, we take a moment to notice there is a life force in me. A life force that animates my heart, that sends a flow of life throughout my body. I take a moment to feel that life force as if it is humming and singing and flowing throughout every cell of my body. There is nothing I need do to guide this life force, but simply relax and allow this perfect divine life to do its perfect work in me. I let go and let life flow. I relax knowing that this is the very life force of God, the spirit of life that is perfect. The flow of life that knows exactly what to do to nourish this body, to renew and refresh. And just as I know that the spirit of life pours through my being without fail, that same spirit of life flows through every person's being alive on this planet. Together we feel our oneness through the activity of God in each one of our beings, and filling the space between our beings. For God and life are everywhere. So grateful to know that the power of God and the power of life are everywhere present, healing and renewing, raising our bodies to strength and power. We see in our mind's eye that every human on the planet is feeling alive and invigorated with the perfect life of God. We also see in our mind's eye the presence of God as a spiritual energy. The very essence of spirit is filling heaven and earth. That this presence of divine substance becomes all that we need. Every need is met in this moment through the pure and perfect substance of God. Before we call, God has answered, provided the divine energy to become our daily bread. And so we feel our hearts and our minds opening to that provision, seeing that divine light becoming the substance that we need, the food that we eat, the clothes that we wear, the things that we use, the money that we spend, all living and expressing from the light and essence of God. Knowing that this presence of light is everywhere, providing for every need. Our hearts are filled with generosity. And we see in our mind's eye that every need on the planet is provided for, that every shelf is full, that every plate has food, that every bank account has what it needs to create and provide for our daily needs. We thank you, loving Spirit, that we are never separate, but always one, with the full provision of an infinite Spirit, that every need is met, in this quiet moment. We feel the very love of God's universe surrounding us. We feel the activity of God moving through this universe as a love that is working for our good. We take a deep breath and relax in that knowing. We let go and let love provide our every need today. For we know there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in each of our lives. It is the all-loving goodness of God. As we feel the chair beneath us and we hear the sound of my voice, we begin to return to this present moment in time and open our eyes. To speak our invocation together, the words are here on the screen. Allow these words to be the truth for you today in such a way that you feel relaxed and grateful for all of God's good. Let's say these words together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And so it is. Amen. Oh, that felt good. I don't know about you, but I needed that. And I'm going to invite my co-creator, Kim-Char, to join us. And Kim, do you have a song that we can join in with you today?
Absolutely. Although I still find myself by the babbling brook. That was awesome. That was beautiful. Thank you, Kitty.
You are welcome. Let's make a babbling brook with our musical
We'll babble
notes.
with some melody. How's that?
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I love those words that Kitty spoke. The invigorating life of God flows through us. And as it flows through us, it's expressed as good words, good thoughts, good deeds. This is a song by our friend Bob Sima. You ready to sing?
Let's sing.
Words should be on the screen. Good words, good thoughts, good deeds. 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 These are the things, these things we need. the things, these things we need. From the time you rise till the time you sleep, every step you make, every breath you receive, do these. Everyone you pass on, every street, every eye you meet, every friend you keep, do these. Do these, do these. Chorus again. Good words, good thoughts, good deeds. 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 These are the things, these things we need. If you look back at the world from space, all you see is one human race. Do these, do these. If you stand in the shoes of another, you'll find that these three things will set you free. You free, you free. You know what's coming up. Here we go. Good words, good thoughts, good deeds. 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 These are the things, these things we need. These are the things, these things we need.
Beautiful. These are the things we need. Good words, good thoughts, good deeds. And it couldn't be better said for what we're talking about today. Thank you, Kim. I love the way you're so plugged in. You know, we heard from our governor again. Big news this week that we are to stay at home again for another month until the end of May. How are you feeling about that? I know that there's probably a variety of emotions going on right now. And of course, a new flurry of news items and social media conversation, not necessarily good. As a matter of fact, I actually heard somebody start talking about the second wave of the flu coming this winter. What are they saying? That it could be even worse. So I'm just going to ask you to kind of tune that out for now. I know that some of you even have been feeling somewhat okay. I mean, I've been hearing from different people, and some of you are grateful to have your job still. You're able to work from home. You're healthy. You know, your only real limitation right now is that you're stuck in your house. But then we look outside and we see others who aren't experiencing that same provision right now. And we start to feel helpless for them. And I don't know about you, I mentioned this to our class this week, that there is a part of me that just kind of feels like, I think they call it battle fatigue. It's probably not that severe, but it's kind of exhausting to be in this limitation for such an ongoing period of time. And that's why I'm asking you today to join me in turning our mind away from it and putting it on something else. There's a lot of facts going on around us right now, as usual, but I really would prefer that we put our minds on truth instead. You know, the facts are what make up the problems that we see. And there's all kinds of facts and problems going on right now. But, you know, I think if you narrowed it down, for me, I can see two main facts that need to be dealt with. One is sickness and the other is shortage. And these two issues are really what everything else feeds into, and that's really just commentary. So if we were to look today at the problems of sickness and shortage, this is where I'm calling in our essential light workers. Do you remember a few weeks ago when we talked about how we have essential workers and we have essential light workers? And if you would be one of our essential light workers today, I'm going to put you to work here, because what we need are some people who can transform what we see with our eyes, to transform the facts and the problems into truth. And for some help with that today, I want to go back to Unity's roots. You know, if you've just found unity in the last few weeks or months since we started doing only live stream, let me just share a little bit of background about where we came from. There was a period of time in the early to mid 1800s where a group of people called the Transcendentalists started to come on the scene. You probably know the names of Thoreau and Emerson. Actually, Louisa May Alcott's father, Bronson, she was the one that wrote Little Women. They were all kind of part of the same group of people who were starting to look at God differently. And because they were approaching this from a new angle, they were coined with the label New Thought Thinkers. And the Transcendentalists were ones who saw God not as a separate being, but as a presence that was everywhere, that we did not need a negotiator between us and God, that we weren't separate and had to reach out to find our way to God, but that God dwells within everything and everyone. And one of the first things that I ever read by Ralph Waldo Emerson that described this was so beautiful. It just really opened my heart. So Parker, if we can just look at that up here on the screen. He wrote, "As there is no screen or ceiling between our heads and the infinite heavens, so there is no bar or wall in the soul, where man, the effect, ceases, and God, the cause, begins. The walls are taken away. We lie open on one side to the deeps of spiritual nature, to the attributes of God." Isn't that just amazing to think of that? That you and I lie open on one side. That's why I chose that picture where you open the door and outside there's a universe. I kind of feel like we can open the door of our body and see a universe on the inside of us. Because as spiritual beings having this human experience, part of us has one foot in the earth and one foot in heaven right now. And that was the view of God that the Transcendentalists were trying to live from, not separate, but an expression of. And they truly embraced the idea of omnipresence, that God was expressing through and as them. The psalmist, I think, was writing about that, describing God. In Psalm 89, the heavens are yours, the earth also is yours, the world and all that is in it, you have founded them. And I don't read that founded them as if you authorize them, but that you are expressing them, that they are emanating from God. And Jeremiah the prophet is speaking for God when he said, "Do I not fill heaven and earth, says the Lord." So we're not talking about God with heaven and with earth, but God as heaven, as earth, as the very ground of being. The fact that we exist, our existence is emanating from God. Now, I want to switch over to science here for a minute. If we were to ask a scientist to describe the literal heavens that we can see with our eyes and the earth, I think at some point they would say that it's 99.99999% space, empty space. And that space, they can't name the nature of. But that space is what we in Unity and what the Transcendentalists would call God, the source, the creator. All that is the Spirit of God expressing. And it is truly an invisible space. And in that space and as that space, we see a consciousness working, an aliveness and awareness of all that is happening and going on, that it is the mind of God that we might call omniscience, everywhere present mind. One mind that we all are dwelling within. One mind that generates the perfect divine ideas that all of life comes from. And we also see this presence, this conscious presence, as a power that activates this universe, that activates the energy in our bodies and everything in between, from the stars to you and me. And we call that omnipotence, the one power that's activating everything. And we would say that the nature of that power is good. Its nature is love. It's continually seeking to do good, to see good, to harmonize everything for good. Now, if those descriptions of spirit, of God, of source, of creator resonate with you, I would just offer it resonates with you because the God in you is hearing about itself and it makes sense to the God in you. And again, back to Emerson and the transcendentalist, the way he described it is the soul is the perceiver and revealer of truth. I love this picture of the iceberg. Do we have that up on the screen? This huge piece of ice under the water that we can't see with a physical eye is the soul, the perceiver and the revealer of truth that we see on the outside. And we know the truth when we see it, Emerson said. Let skeptic and scoffer say what they choose. This is what I think Jesus was trying to say, that you shall know the truth and the truth will set you free. When you realize the truth of God within you, that God is your life, that God is your provision, not that God gives you life or gives you provision, but it is the life itself. That is the kind of truth that will set you free. And that is the truth that I'm asking our essential light workers to embrace today, to hold on to these divine ideas. Let's maybe play an if-then game, where if it resonates with you that God is present everywhere, that God is present in all things, and the nature of God is good, then we must say that good is present in all things. And also that if we say that everything is being sourced out of God and that God is infinite, then that source is what is sourcing you and your body and your health and well-being. It's sourcing your thoughts. It's sourcing your belongings. It's sourcing everything that we touch and that we use and that we feel. That life energy and that substance and supply of God is present in us all the time. That is the truth. And we must know that in order to override the facts that our human being wants to look at, the limitations that our human being wants to succumb to. It's life, it's spiritual essence or substance that becomes things from God into this three-dimensional universe that is infinite and eternal. Those are ideas of truth. Those are things that last, that we can depend on, that will inform our life if we let it. And that same life that was expressing so fully in the human race a couple months ago was the life of God that is also present right now, even in the midst of allness. It is still there. That substance that was providing for our jobs, for our income, for the food that we eat before all of this COVID-19 began is still present now. We must just learn how to see it, to acknowledge it, even though we can't see it with our physical eyes. This is what Paul was writing to the Hebrews, first of all, up on the screen. He said, what is seen is made from things that are not visible. And he said it again to the Corinthians. He said, we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. Since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. Now, I know that especially if you're just new to Unity and these concepts, that this might be, what is she talking about? I'm going to ask you to just breathe and allow this experience to kind of move through you until it either resonates with you or you need to set it aside. But I just am at a place in this whole COVID experience where I feel like I need to get down to the heart of truth and say it the way that I know it. And if it resonates with you, that's great. Let me go back to this recognition that God as invisible is the provision of everything visible. When it said in that scripture that what is seen is made from things that are not visible, the things that are not visible are really not our salvation in this shortage and in this sickness. Even though it's God, and even though it's life, and even though it's provision, it is not our salvation in the middle of sickness and shortage. What our provision is, what our salvation is now, is that we see it. It's our faith in that invisible. If God as life and God as provision could solve all of our problems by itself, we wouldn't be having any problems right now. The reason that we have problems now isn't because God isn't our provider. It's because we are not seeing God as our provider. And that is what I'm asking our essential light workers to do today, is to start seeing with the eyes of faith into that invisible dimension and allow it to come forth. Again, when the transcendentalists shared what their thoughts were, the New Thought movement continued to evolve with organizations like Unity and Religious Science or Centers for Spiritual Living. And their founder was Ernest Holmes. And something that he said about this, up on the screen, Parker: faith knows that the universe is a spiritual system. What was the first word I said? Faith. Let me say it again. Faith knows that the universe is a spiritual system, that man is a part of this system. It knows that man's environment is also part of this system. Because the system is perfect, the condition may become perfect and would be perfect if it were known to be so. If it were known to be so. So here we have this perfect spiritual system that provides the perfect life in our bodies, that provides the physical provision for our daily needs. And in order for us to see that perfect spiritual system, we have to know that it exists. And in the knowing, it can transform the condition of sickness and shortage into what God really is. Full provision, full health and well-being. Now, if we go back to science here for a minute, science would say that what is visible is mostly space. Now, if that doesn't make your head explode, I don't know what will. What is visible is mostly space. And yet, even though it's mostly space, it's tangible. And that invisible is what's holding it together. And the invisible, since it's mostly invisible, it's the invisible that has the power. The visible that we actually see and use and touch is secondary to the invisible presence of God that is holding it all together. So the visible is dependent upon the invisible for its existence. The elements that we need for a healthy body are invisible and present in our body right now as life, because God is life and God is everywhere present. But how spirit presents as life depends on our consciousness, our awareness of that life, our connection to it in our own thoughts and our own feelings and our own beliefs. We must see it as done. And that the invisible spiritual element that becomes our supply is also present right now in our lives. But in order for us to experience it as food and as money and as daily bread, we have to see that substance, that spiritual God substance, as real and as present. We must see it, we must say it, and then we set it free. I would love for us to be able to look at every challenge from the premise that there is already a lavish abundance available to us of our good. We must see it as Jesus saw it. We must see it looking at health, not sickness. That is how I think he performed his healings. You know, you and I would have seen a person with a withered hand that could barely move it. And he said, stretch it forth. Because in his vision, his inner vision, he saw the invisible Spirit of God expressing as a perfect and whole hand. And that is what became real in this physical dimension. He didn't say, how long have you been lame, laying there by the pool? Oh, 28, 38 years, that's a long time. Tell me more about it. No, he just said, stand and walk. He didn't say, how long has Lazarus been dead in the tomb? He just hollered, Lazarus, come forth. He was saying what he was seeing in his mind's eye and setting it free. He wasn't looking at 2 fish and 5 loaves. He wasn't even looking at the 5,000 people. He was seeing enough to feed them all. He wasn't seeing a raging storm that was threatening the life of he and his disciples. He was seeing and saying, "Peace, be still." If you're an essential light worker out there, I hope you're listening, because this is your job. This is your job, to deal with the idea that you want to see, not with what the problem is. Our focus right now is not dealing with the sick person. Our focus is to deal with the well person that dwells within that person as life, as renewal, as strength and power and energy and joy for life. That's the person that I'm asking you to see. When we are tempted to read those numbers on the screen, shift your view away from that. Turn it within and see the divine light within yourself and within every being. To heal COVID-19, we have to look past it. We have to look at not the tangible sickness, but the essence of God life within us. Even though it's invisible, it is the power and the force that is actually the 99% of our health and well-being. And that's what we must see in order to set it free. If you have seen any evidence of supply on this planet right now, if there's any money, it's a simple proof that there is a divine energy that's providing it. And that energy is what is real, is eternal, is infinite in nature, and becomes the provision that we need. Jesus understood this secret formula. He understood that it began with an awareness in his mind of the power, and then a direction of his mind with his words to formulate the power into things. That is how we create. That's how we transform sickness and shortage, is that we realize first the power, and that's what generates it, activates it in our life. And then it's our spoken word that distributes it, that outlines how it should look. See it, say it, set it free. That's our job. Jesus came upon the little girl, mourners surrounding her, crying that she had died. He said, "Go away. She's not dead. She's only sleeping." His words were, "Little girl, get up." I think he saw, as Paul was writing in the scriptures to the Romans, he said that as God, who gives life to the dead, calls into existence the things that do not exist. I mean, isn't that amazing? That we call things into existence out of that which does not exist. Now, again, your mind should explode when you try and understand that with your human ability. But this is why we lean into spirit for this. This is why we generate faith in the invisible, because our job is to call things into existence out of the non-existent, out of the invisible. And we don't just do it with our vision. We need to use our words. If we look at the scripture from Isaiah 55, "So shall my word be that goes out from my mouth. It shall not return to me empty, but it shall accomplish that which I purpose and succeed in the thing for which I sent it." Our words are powerful because they have the thought, the divine idea behind them, if we choose for it to be so. If we're choosing divine ideas. It is so critical right now to stop wallowing in the problem and talking about the problem and getting into conversations with others about the problem. I'm not saying that you need to correct what they're saying. I'm just saying to focus on your own thoughts, your own words. Don't be disturbed by what you're hearing from others. Be the essential light worker and turn within to grab a hold of one of those thoughts of light. And let those thoughts of light renew not only your thoughts, but your words, because your words are going to carry whatever power you put behind it. And that is completely up to you. But a demand for new life, a demand for provision must be made. Otherwise, we just have this power sitting here unused. But we must start using our words and taking that scattered light, like you're seeing all around me, and use your words to turn it into a laser, to outline exactly what it is that we seek right now. We seek life. We seek health. We seek flow and abundant supply. And that is waiting for us in spirit, in the invisible. Our words now can measure out. When Jesus said, "For with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you," You measure it out with the kinds of words that you are using. And this is an opportunity for you to not only see it in your mind's eye, in the heart of God within you, but to say it aloud, to impress that energy with your words until it becomes something tangible. And the words with the truest power are the words that are divine in nature. You know, when we speak fearful words, all we are doing is destroying. That's the power that they have, is to destroy. But our words of faith are what create what we need, our daily bread, the good that we seek. If you want to use your words to speak of sickness, all we're doing is prolonging the suffering and contributing to it. We cannot create life if our words are contradicting life. Essential light workers, if you have ears to hear me right now, I'm asking you to hear. It's up to us. We know what we're holding in our heart because the scripture says, Jesus told us that the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. So just notice what words are coming out of your mouth and notice if it's time to do some work on the inside and change that in your consciousness. But that's why it's important to see it first before you say it. See in your mind's eye that the presence of light and life is everywhere because God is everywhere. That the presence of supply of spiritual energy, the substance that becomes things, is everywhere. See it first. And then you can begin to use words to feel it. When you get into the feeling part, and we'll talk more about that next week, when we get into the feeling part, that's when we are really making headway in transforming what we see with our eyes. We were in class this week talking about Wayne Dyer's book, Wishes Fulfilled, and we just took an opportunity to start speaking words of life. And people were choosing different words depending on what they needed to experience in their life. But it was everything from life to abundance to joy to peace to power to strength to renewal to grace. And these words, as people were saying them aloud, they were literally feeling them in their bodies. And by the time we were done, we were raised up to a higher frequency. That is where transition, transformation, and renewal happens, is when your being is aligned with the energy and spirit of God. I hope you can feel it. Can you feel it in the air right now? Can you feel the power behind those words? This is why Unity uses affirmative prayer. We speak words of affirmation, and they're just simply tools that are saying what is true about God in any given situation. That's what an affirmation is. I say what is true about God in this situation. I focus on the divine qualities of life when I'm faced with sickness. I focus on health. I focus on strength. I focus on renewal. I focus on upliftment. I focus on joy. And as I say those words and feel those words, I'm actually creating that in this physical dimension. It's not that I'm making it true like it wasn't before. I'm actually allowing it through me. It's already true in the spiritual dimension, but my words, my agreement with my heart, my feelings, is allowing the meaning of those words to actually start expressing. I am the gatekeeper. My conscious mind and my words open the gate and let that power of God come through. It strengthens our own convictions. It strengthens our faith so that the more that we believe in what we're saying, the more quickly we see results. You know, the governor has given us a month of staying home. I don't know about you, but I want that to be the end of it, if not sooner. Let's agree together to free that life of God this month. As we come upon the month of May, okay, let's take the next few days of April. Why wait till May? Let's start now with just holding those divine ideas of health and well-being, of joy, seeing people in your mind's eye, getting back to work, enjoying the provision of good all around them. And as we see it in our mind's eye and say it, we're setting it free. I've got a few of these affirmations up here on the screen. Parker, if we could show those. I'm going to ask you to say these with me. Get up close to your screen so you can see these words and feel the power of the words as they're coming out of your mouth. Some of these affirmations that we're going to say begin with what we call a denial, which is we're clarifying to our consciousness what has no power and what does have power. So let's say this first one together. Sickness has no power over the divine life in me, Every cell in my body is guided by divine intelligence to its natural state of well-being. Just take a look at those words. Nothing has power over the divine life in me. And in every moment, because God's omniscience, one mind, one intelligence is everywhere present, everywhere present, intelligence is in your body, in your cells right now, guiding them to their natural state, their perfect pattern, the divine idea of health that's held in the mind of God is present in you right now. Those are the kind of words we speak. You might just shorten it to divine life flows freely in me. Say that with me. Divine life flows freely in me. Okay, here's our second affirmation up here on the screen together. There is no shortage in an infinite universe. God is my source of unlimited abundance. Think about that. There is no shortage if God is present. And if God were not present, we would not be here. There would not be a universe. And the same God that created this flowing, life-filled, abundant universe has not gone anywhere. It's still giving of itself. And these are the kind of words that we need to speak to see it, say it, and set it free in our lives. And then this last one, let's say these words together. I release this worry into the heart of love. I choose peace over this. Whatever comes up for you as we're waiting to get back to normal, move into a place of now, in this moment. I don't have to wait for peace. I'm choosing peace now. I release this worry into the heart of love. I choose peace over this. This is a choice. Every moment is a choice. What will you see with your spiritual eyes? Remembering that it's mostly invisible. It's still power. It's still love. It's still life. And it is waiting for our allowing for it to express itself through us. See it happening, say it with your words, and you set it free. I wanted to finish today with a writing from James Dillett Freeman, who has been a Unity minister, and he's written Our Prayer for Protection and many other inspiring ideas. But this one today I thought was perfect for what we've been talking about up here on the screen. He says, when I can, I like to pray aloud. I have found that silent thought does not have the power to control my mind that speaking aloud does. When I speak a word aloud, it commands the attention of my mind. It focuses my thought and moves it where I want it to go, toward God. The great purpose of prayer is this: to turn wordless longings into words of faith, to turn words of faith into life-supporting attitudes, to turn life-supporting attitudes into brave, wise, loving acts, to turn brave, wise, loving acts into a full life. See it, say it, and we set it free. Good words, just like we started singing about today. Good words, good thoughts, good deeds. But it begins within ourselves. See it. It's up to you to be that essential light worker that we all need right now. Find your own way to write an affirmation. Choose one divine idea and focus on it, even if it's one word, even if your affirmation is just one word, where every time you hear a COVID announcement, you just think the word life. Every time you hear how many people have been laid off or what the unemployment numbers are, you just think abundance. There's your affirmations for the week. Life and abundance. See it, say it, and set it free. Let's just take this into prayer for a moment. Loving God, everywhere present, We behold the fullness of life right now in this moment, joyfully singing in every cell of our bodies. We behold that life renewing every cell, strengthening our bodies. And in every body on the planet, we see this life joyfully renewing and refreshing. Loving God, we know that you have provided before we have even asked. And we see with gratitude this infinite presence that supplies every need. The essence, the energy, the substance of spirit that becomes our daily bread, we know is here now. And for that everywhere present goodness, we say, thank you, God. So it is. And now we allow it, we see it, we say it, and we set it free. Amen. Could you see I was feeling a little passionate today? I just had to get that out. I really have just been feeling the incredible need for those of you who can see the light to see it now and set it free. I hope you'll join me this week and just keep it going. Keep it going. This is a time in our service where we invite you to share your tithes and your love offerings. It's another way to reveal that goodness of spirit, that provision of spirit, and it can only be revealed through you. Trusting that this invisible presence that becomes our daily bread requires our own generosity of spirit. And I hope that what you've heard today has supported you in some way. If it's meaningful to you, if you want this to spread and to permeate the planet around us, I'm going to invite you to give today, because it's your gifts that are making it possible for us to continue to do this. And as we give, we realize it is not I, the human being with my bank account, that does this. It is the all-giving provision of God that flows through us. And let's make it so with our words as we bless it. The blessing is up here on the screen. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. Amen. And we offer an opportunity for you to give online. There should be a donate button somewhere on the screen there with you, or you can go back to unityinnaperville.org on the homepage and you'll find a donate button. There's also an address here on the screen if you'd rather mail in your gift to our post office box 9733 in Naperville, and the zip is 60567. Thank you to the many, many of you have been so faithful with your giving, and know that we are continuing to put it to good use. We've got so many ways that we want to bless and support you this week. One of the things we'll be doing at the end of the service is talking with you a little bit, and I'll give you a phone number here in a minute that you can text, or a way that you can reach out to us through commenting on the screen. But let me bring Kim-Char back in here for a moment. And can you bless us while we're making our offering today? Can you bless us with another song? I know we've got a special one I'm looking forward to hearing.
I'll be happy to. Let's see. Am I here? We had a little camera difficulty. Hi, everybody. Kitty, I'm happy to sing a song. And yes, we could tell you we're getting a little passionate today. Right, guys? It just makes me want to go out, scream, see it, say it, set it free. See it, say it, set it free.
Okay,
yes.
Good. You know what you can do with that? Make it a song. Next
week, guys, see it, say it, set it free. But I'll tell you what, we'll do another song that I really think goes with that. See it, say it, set it free. See it, say it, set it free. I guess it starts with seeing it, and that seeing it, that envisioning it, that picturing in our mind. We have that power. You know, they call it imagination, that picturing power of our mind. We all have it. See it, say it, set it free. It starts with imagination. And this song that I'd like to share is one that was written by our SpiritRise songwriting workshop. I can't remember what month it was, and it was inspired by the 12th powers, one of the 12 powers, imagination. And it was written by, let me get these names for you, Suzanne Case, Joe Laszlo, Parker helped with it, Leela Siegel, Ron Siegel, and myself wrote this song. I'm going to look at the words, make sure I get it right? Einstein riding on a beam of light, Wilbur and Orville taking flight, Magellan sailing round the earth, Maya Angelou and her mighty words. How they imagined, as they imagined, the formless took form. Imagination fuels creation as we choose to see beyond. Imagination fuels creation as we choose to see beyond. Resume in hand, offers abound, a fancy condo downtown, applause from adoring fans. What is your dream? Just imagine, as you imagine, formless takes form. Imagination fuels creation as we choose to see beyond. Imagination fuels creation as we choose to see beyond. It lifts us up, nothing holds us down when we imagine, oh, as we imagine. Imagination fuels creation as we choose to see beyond. Imagination fuels creation as we choose to see beyond. As we choose to see beyond. As we choose to see beyond. See it. Say it. Set it free.
You go, girl. I love that song. I am so proud of our team for writing that.
Yay!
That is awesome.
Songwriters. Awesome.
Thank you, writers. Beautiful. We're going to have more to talk about that in a little bit, but we wanted to share some announcements with you today. And as usual, there's a lot going on this week.
Oh, yeah.
I want to start. We're going to have some slides up here on the screen. So see if you can keep up, Parker, because they're going to go kind of fast. First, we have the Prayerful Connection. I was joyful in participating in this last week. And it was such a joy for me because I got to just sit and listen to our chaplains discussing a spiritual idea that for a half an hour, they just open up your heart to something that is peaceful, that allows you to feel like you can just rest in spirit. It's a great way to get centered. This week, we're doing it on Monday at 11:45, so midday at 11:45, and you just make a conference call. So you just pick up the phone and call the number. There's a number up on the screen, and it's also on our website. So if you just go to our event calendar and click on Monday, you'll see it there with the phone number and the access code that you need. So I hope you'll join us for that. That's Monday at 11:45. Kim, what's happened Tuesday at noon?
Still happening every Tuesday and Thursday. In fact, noon at unitycommunityconnect.com, the Lunch Together Online. You just hit the Lunch Together Online channel and join us for our video chat. And honestly, we love new people. Yeah. Even if we've never met before, please come in and say hi and let us see what you're eating. It's always fun.
Bring your peanut butter and jelly.
And also pets. Pets are a big thing. We see a lot of pets at lunch. So bring your furry friends to lunch, and we'll all have fun gathering.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Wednesday at noon, also, bring your lunch if you'd like, but not necessary. Kim or Sharon is going to be joining us to allow us to inspire one another. It's called Be Inspired, Inspire Others. You know what? It's just a chance to catch up on what we talked about today. So she'll have some notes from today, and it'll give you a chance to talk more about see it, say it, and set it free. And it's just a good time to remind yourself on that midweek when we tend to start to slump a little bit. It's a good time to remind yourself of what is really true in your life. So I hope you'll join her on Wednesday at noon. And that's at unitycommunityconnect.com, where you can always just go to our website and click the event calendar for that. And then I'm doing another healing service, and I'm excited to introduce Christina Garza as my cohort that night. Christina is an associate minister at our church in Evanston, and she and I are going to be doing the healing service together. So I hope you'll make time for us. It's Wednesday at 7:00. It'll be live streaming like we're doing right now.
Nice.
So just come to the website, unityinnaperville.org, and click on the live stream link for this healing service. Beforehand, please email us your prayer requests. If you have healing prayer requests for yourself or your loved ones, just send it in now or anytime between now and Wednesday night to prayer@unityinnaperville.com. No, unityinnaperville.org. And that way we can have those prayer requests ready to go for our healing service on Wednesday night. We'll also allow you to text your prayer requests in that night, and we'll have the number on the screen then. So I hope you'll join us for that. And Kim, what is happening on, is it May 1st? I don't even want to say the dates because it might be wrong. It's about the concert.
Yeah, let's see where that poster is. There you go. I have to look at all these different monitors, guys. May 1st, this Friday, it's happening this week. We have Feed the Body, Feed the Soul, a benefit concert for Loaves and Fishes and the Marie Wilkinson Food Pantry in Aurora. And I'm so excited, not only because we get to support and give to our community and the food banks in this way, but also because a bunch of our friends are coming by to share some music. We sang one of his songs today. Bob Sima and Shannon Plummer will be here. Summer Osborne will be here. Denise Rosier. I'll be here singing. And I do believe we have a Whitney Foes singing a song. Did you know that, Kitty?
No, she's going to be there at the concert? Oh, good. Yay!
I think she's sending something in. And a couple other people. I've got some feelers out. But please join us. That's at 7:30 this Friday night. You can catch us on our website, unityinnaperville.org. Or also, we'll be streaming on Facebook Live. And you'll have ample opportunity to generously donate to these food pantries.
Yes, thank you for your help in advance. They are, the numbers are, we're not talking about numbers today. We just know that there is an abundance of supply, and we're grateful that you're helping to provide for that. Thank you for that. And also, speaking of Spirit, the energy of Spirit is showing up on your screen on Saturday morning at 9:00 with Cindy Spies. So it's another way to just allow that life energy that we are seeking right now. It's a great way to experience the life of Spirit in your body. So you can meet Cindy on Saturday at 9:00 in the morning. Again, just go to our website, unityinnaperville.org, hit the event calendar, go to Saturday at 9:00. It'll show you the link on how to get into that.
Cool.
And then you've got something coming up right after that, right, Kim-Char?
Let me see what this
Saturday
says.
at 10 o'clock.
Saturday. It's time for Courageous Writers once again. It happens about every couple weeks. And 10 a.m., join us again, unitycommunityconnect.com at the Courageous Writers channel. Join the video call. And if you haven't joined us before, please come with us. Oh my God, I'm tripping over my tongue today. But that's okay. You don't even have to speak. All you have to do is write that day. How's that, Kitty? Segue.
Sounds easier.
But it's really nice. The facilitators, that's Cindy Blank and Elizabeth Allroth, they provide some writing prompts that get us started for these 10-minute intervals of writing, and it's a great way to do it. And it's, you know what, it's good fellowship too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to put out another call for those of you who can sew. If you would help us sew masks, as soon as the governor put out the notice that we should all be wearing masks beginning May 1st, we got a lot more interest in masks. So we really could use some help sewing some, and we will help you with the materials. So if you can help in any way, would you please email me at admin, ADMIN, at unityinnaperville.org. And we'll connect you with the materials. If you need a mask, let us know. Send it to that same email address, admin@unityinnaperville.org. Might take another week or so because some of these materials, like elastic, is on back order. So we're hoping to see that by the end of the week and get these out to you as soon as we can.
You know, Kitty, I tried to make a mask.
You did? How'd it go?
I tried, but I saw this YouTube thing, and they said you can make a mask by folding some paper towels in a certain way and using rubber bands.
I think I saw that same. No, it didn't work. No, not so good.
No. So thank you in advance to all you crafters who know how to make masks. Yes. Because my paper towel and rubber band thing didn't work.
I tried it with an old t-shirt. I cut off the back of it, and it was so big and heavy I couldn't breathe. So I need to cut it back a little bit or just wait till the masks are ready.
Who knew? It just has to be the perfect material, the perfect balance. That's what what a good mask is. So
there you go. Hey, I hear that there is a 12 Powers project going on that we could use some help with.
Why, yes, there is. We announced this last week, everybody, and I put it in front of me so I could get all the details for you. You know, last year, as you could hear from that song Imagination, we wrote 12 songs, the SpiritRise songwriting workshop groups did, based on the 12 powers. And now we're going to take our exploration even further with our 12 Powers project, and that will culminate in a full color book and audio CD later this year. And so this fundraiser this project will be a fundraiser for Unity in Naperville, and you're invited to submit art, music, writings, whatever, inspired by any one or all of those 12 powers. And the instructions and more information on submissions can be found at unitycommunityconnect.com on the 12 Powers Project page. The deadline for submissions is June 5th. And last week, I think I had mentioned, let's work on these two every single week. Forget that idea. That's not going to work. Just because you know what? You're going to be moved by what is moving you at that moment. Mm-hmm. We're going to trust Spirit in that. And so you create as Spirit is moving you, according to whatever ever power inspires you, okay? But we have those
powers are listed, right? Those powers are listed. There's some actual content about what the powers are.
Yes,
and that
resource
might inspire you. Yeah. So go
down
to unitycommunityconnect.com to the 12 Powers Project channel. Find your supporting materials there.
Definitely download that PDF that Reverend Kitty provided about the 12 powers.
Okay, well, in a minute, we are going to let you text us your questions and comments for today, and you can also do it at the bottom of the screen there in the chat box. But before we do that, let's close with our closing affirmation and one last song together. Up on the screen, just to embed this in our consciousness, let's say these words together. What I see in my heart and say with my words, I set free in the world. And so it is, my darlings. Let's sing.
Let's see. Okay, this song, we've done it before. It's called Let Our Faith Become a Mountain. Words should be on the screen. You call us to walk on water. You call us up even higher. You strengthen our hearts when we are weary. You steady our souls, we're brave in the fire. Let our faith become a mountain that will rise and never fall. Lifted high above the valley, we declare your kingdom come. We rejoice in what you promised, heart, mind, and soul. Let our faith become a mountain we stand tall. Yeah. Sing it again. Ready? You call us to walk on water. You call us up even higher. You strengthen our hearts when we are weary. You steady our souls, we're brave in the fire. Let our faith become a mountain that will rise and never fall. Lifted high above the valley, we declare your kingdom come. We rejoice in what you promised, heart, mind, and soul. Let our faith become a mountain we stand on. We stand on. We will stand unaffected by the chaos. We will stand no matter what the cost. No more worry, no more fear. Every doubt will disappear. Every doubt will disappear. Let our faith become a mountain that will rise and never fall. Lifted high above the valley, we declare your kingdom come. We rejoice in what you promised, heart, mind, and soul. Let our faith become a mountain we stand on. Let our faith become a mountain we stand on. Yeah.
Amen to that. Thank you, Kim-Char. That was perfect for today. All this music is just, I hope, really supported you in what we've been talking about. And I'm so grateful that you've spent the time to be with us today.